Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and today we're continuing the terrible Regents of Wu Let's Talk Lore series with episode 3 titled Sun Chen's Appointment. Before we get started, here's the answer to our trivia question from the end of our last episode, and be sure to stay tuned until the end of this episode for a brand new trivia question. Now, we left off last time with another failed assassination attempt to remove Regent Sunjun, but this time, aside from punishing those who were responsible in Sun Yi, Zhang Yi, and Lin Xun, Sunjun would also execute the innocent Princess Sun Luyu on behalf of Sun Luyu's own older sister, Sun Luban, who never got over the fact that Sun Luyu refused to support her during the Crown Prince partisan divide. In the direct aftermath of Sun Luyu's death, Sun Luyu's only daughter, Lady Zhu, who was the wife of Prince Sun Xiu, returned to the capital city of Jianye by herself to see her mother off for the final time and to face any potential punishment that might be directed at her. Fortunately, Sunjun and Sun Luban had no desire to extend any punishment toward her, as she was allowed to attend her mother's funeral and then safely return back to her husband's side. After this latest round of internal conflict within Wu, Sunjun wanted to turn the kingdom's attention outward, as he proposed an expansionary effort towards the Guangling commandery just north of Jianye. However, Sunjun's idea of building a fortified position on the north bank of the Yangtze River as a forward position for future expansions into the Wei-held territories in the Shu province had a few issues. Historically speaking, the Kingdom of Wu had rarely launched any offensive campaigns in the Guangling region, with the last attempt being all the way back in the year 201, when Sun Quan was sent by his older brother Sun Ce to attack Chen, who was the administrator of Guangling for Cao Cao. Sun Quan's attack failed twice, despite having 10 times the numerical advantage in troop count, and when Sun Ce personally came to lead the attack, he was infamously assassinated by Xu Gong's former houseguest. Now, the reason why this attack route was never attempted again stems mainly from the difficult geography of this region. During the Three Kingdoms period, China's eastern coastline looked very different when compared to modern times, as sea level was much higher. This resulted in two difficult conditions in the Guangling region. First, there were numerous riverways that ran west to east into the sea, which made army advancements and, more importantly, supply transport extremely difficult as you move north or south. Furthermore, the higher sea level also created a very swampy saltwater condition on land, as most of the southern half of Guangling Commandery were swamplands that were difficult to traverse, prone to spreading diseases, and not fertile for farming. So there was never much of a reason to fight over this territory, as it held little strategic value for both Wu and Wei. Now, having established the swampy nature of Guangling, it's not hard to understand the foolishness of Sunjun's proposal, as not only is building a fort on swampy terrain difficult, the idea of using it as a forward position for attacks on Guangling in the future also feels pointless. While most of the Wu court would also share these sentiments, most are too scared to speak up against the ruthless Sunjun. In the end, only official Teng Yin would speak up, but with Teng Yin only being a powerless symbolic marquise after being sidelined from the Grand Excellency position by Sun Jun after the assassination of Zhuge Ke, there was just nothing Teng Yin could do to stop Sun Jun from carrying out his plans. So in late 255, Sun Jun mobilized massive amounts of troops and civilian laborers into Guangling, only for this project to stall, as construction slowed due to the swampy conditions. And later in early 256, after logistical issues leading to a massive starvation of the labor and troops that almost caused a mutiny, the project was finally called off as Sun Jun's reputation within Wu continued to plummet. Becoming increasingly isolated within the Wu court, Sun Jun decided to salvage his position in August of 256 when he pushed for former Wei general Wen Qing's plan to launch a two-pronged naval attack into Wei provinces of Xu and Qing. Now, the reason why Sun Jun decided to rely on Wen Qing, who had just recently defected to Wu after Guan Qiujian's failed second rebellion in Huainan, is because both of them had no friends within the Wu military, as most of the top generals in Zhu Yi and Lu Ju had a poor past history fighting against Wenqing in the Yang province. As part of Wenqing's plan, Wenqing himself, along with the general of the cavalry, Lu Ju, the general of the chariot, Liu Zan, the general who stabilizes the south, Zhu Yi, and the general of the front, Tang Zi, would all set sail from the Wu capital city of Jianye before traversing up the Huai River into the Si River to attack at Wei positions inside the Xu and Qing provinces. Seeing the Wu military off, Sunjun and top officials such as Teng Yin held a farewell military parade in the city of Jianye, only for Sunjun to fall ill during the parade as the sight of Lu Ju's organized retinue disgusted him. Later that night, it was said that Sunjun had a dream of Zhuge Ke coming back from the dead to strike his soul, as his illness would worsen before eventually claiming his life less than 2 months later on October 19th, 256, at the age of only 38. On his deathbed, Sunjun decided to pass his regent position, which he had held for only 3 short years, and the command of the martial guards to his 26-year-old young cousin, Sun Chen, who is the eldest son of Sunjun's uncle, Sun Chuo. Now, the choice of Sun Chen can be explained in 2 parts. First, Sunjun did not have any children of his own, despite his lewd reputation of sleeping with imperial maids and his incestuous relationship with his aunt, Princess Sun Luban. Second, Sunjun wanted to keep the regency within his branch of the clan, which made Sun Chen the ideal choice, as his uncle, Sun Chuo, was the eldest son of 3 from his generation, and Sun Chen was the eldest son of Sun Chuo, which made him the natural heir, at least for their grandfather Sun Hao's branch of the family. However, the problem is, Sun Chen was extremely unqualified to become regent. First off, he was rather young, at only 26 years old. Sure, Emperor Sun Liang was still only 14, but having a 26-year-old guide a 14-year-old to run an entire kingdom just doesn't sound like a wise plan. Furthermore, Sun Chen never held a high court position prior to his ascension as regent, as he was just a deputy general for Sun Jun. This combination of inexperience and youth easily made Sun Chen a target for the numerous high-ranking Wu generals and officials who collectively saw Sun Chen as unfit to become regent. Unfortunately, most of these high-ranking generals are still out on this naval campaign as part of the Sun Jun-approved Wenqing attack plan. But upon hearing Sun Jun's death and Sun Chen's appointment, these generals immediately decided to call off their attacks as they sped back towards Jianye, hoping to depose the newly appointed Sun Chen. And as part of their plan, General of the Cavalry, Lu Ju, led the way with Wenqing and Tang Zi, who collectively wrote a court petition to have the senior official Teng Yin become the next prime minister of Wu and become a fellow co-regent to share the responsibilities with Sun Chen. And defecting this arrangement, Sun Chen smartly promoted Teng Yin to the position of Da Sima, or the supreme military commander of Wu. But as part of this promotion, Sun Chen also demanded that Teng Yin to relocate to the secondary capital of Wuchang to replace the previous Da Sima, Lu Dai, who had just passed away to natural causes at the age of 96, just 2 days after Sun Jun's death on October 21st, 256. So basically, while Teng Yin would end up gaining control of the Wu Western forces in Wuchang, he would be powerless to affect the imperial court in Jianye, much less divide Sun Chen's regent power as Lu Ju and the other general had wished. So when this arrangement was made public and news reached Lu Ju became incensed as he immediately ordered his personal retinue to prepare for war, as he now seek to return to Jianye to remove Sun Chen with force. And with another round of internal strife looming above the kingdom of Wu over the position of regent for Emperor Sun Liang, we'll end our episode here, as we'll continue tomorrow to cover the civil war that resulted in Sun Chen's regency with episode 4, titled A Terrible Transition. So hopefully y'all have enjoyed this episode enough to consider subscribing to the channel for more content on Three Kingdoms history, or simply support the channel by leaving a comment below, or just by hitting the like button. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye!